Is Donald Trump actually considering stepping out of the U.S. election? This question is gaining traction, particularly after recent shifts in the political landscape. With Kamala Harris entering the race as the Democratic candidate, what was once a significant lead for Trump has started to narrow. When he initially faced President Joe Biden, Trump had a clear advantage. However, with these changes, it's becoming more plausible to wonder if Trump might reconsider his candidacy. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. This speculation isn't just coming from political commentators. Some within Trump's own party are also questioning his commitment. One of the most eye-catching predictions came from Anthony Scaramucci, a former Trump aide turned outspoken critic. Scaramucci recently suggested that Trump might actually withdraw from the 2024 election, a statement that has caused quite a stir. He made this prediction in response to a post by popular YouTuber Stephanie LB, where he characterized Trump as a potentially weak leader who may not possess the resilience many of his supporters believe he has. This comment has sparked widespread debate, with many questioning whether there's any substance behind it or if it's just political rhetoric. But what's really happening with Trump's campaign? Let's dive into the details. Early in his campaign, Trump was in a strong position. His chances of winning were as high as 71 on betting platforms like Polymarket, especially when Biden was struggling with low approval ratings. However, things have changed dramatically since Kamala Harris entered the race. As the new Democratic candidate, Harris has shifted the dynamics. She recently overtook Trump on Polymarket with a 52 chance of winning compared to Trump's drop below 45. This significant decline has led to questions about whether Trump's campaign is losing steam. So what's driving these changes? The economy is playing a central role in this election, and it's causing some voters who initially supported Trump to reconsider. Economic concerns are top of mind for many Americans, and Harris has managed to earn the trust of a significant number of voters in this area. A recent Financial Times Michigan Ross poll shows that 42 of voters now trust Harris to handle economic issues, giving her a slight edge over Trump despite his reputation as a strong economic leader. However, not all polls agree. For example, the CNBC All-America Economic Survey still shows Trump with a strong lead on economic matters. This mixed picture makes it difficult to predict how the economy will ultimately sway voters. Now, let's take a closer look at the polls. Despite the challenges Trump faces, recent polls indicate he still holds a slight lead in key battleground states like Pennsylvania, Nevada, and North Carolina. These states are crucial for securing a victory, and understanding what's helping Trump maintain his lead there is important. If the economy remains the decisive issue and voters in these states continue to trust Trump over Harris on economic matters, he could still come out on top. Currently, Trump's campaign is heavily focused on his promises to tackle inflation, an issue that resonates with many voters feeling the pinch of rising prices. Will Trump really drop out? Well, Scaramucci's prediction has caused a buzz. It's important to remember that Trump is known for his unpredictability. His entire political career has been marked by unexpected moves and statements that keep everyone guessing. Whether Scaramucci's comments reflect a genuine possibility or are just an attempt to create doubt remains to be seen. What is clear, though, is that the 2024 election is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in recent history, with the economy playing a central role. Switching gears a bit, let's discuss an issue that might not be on the radar for many voters, but could have lasting consequences. The future of the First Amendment if Trump wins. The First Amendment, which safeguards freedoms like speech, press, and assembly, has been a cornerstone of American democracy. However, its future could be at risk if Trump gets the opportunity to appoint more justices to the Supreme Court. To understand why this is so important, we need to revisit the history of free speech in the United States. For much of American history, free speech wasn't as protected as it is today. Dissidents were often jailed for their views, and laws like the Comstock Act allowed the government to censor anything deemed indecent or immoral. This kind of suppression wasn't limited to unpopular political ideas. That also extended to anything related to topics like sex art or literature. For instance, Anthony Comstock, the Comstock Act's namesake, famously prosecuted a gallery owner for selling a reproduction of Alexandra Cabanel's The Birth of Venus, a nude painting now displayed in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It wasn't until the 1960s that the Supreme Court began to enforce the First Amendment seriously, issuing landmark decisions that protected political speech and guaranteed freedom of the press. These decisions established the framework for the strong free speech protections Americans enjoy today. However, these protections could be rolled back if the Supreme Court's composition changes. Currently, the Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority in favor of maintaining the post-1960s interpretation of the First Amendment. However, there are three justices, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Samuel Alito, who have shown a willingness to significantly reduce these protections. Thomas and Gorsuch have openly called for overturning New York Times v. Sullivan 1964, a crucial decision for press freedom in the U.S. Trump has also indicated his support for overturning this decision, particularly in a 2022 court filing. The concern is that if Trump wins the 2024 election and appoints more justices, the current 6-3 majority could shift, potentially leading to the erosion of free speech protections that have been in place for nearly 60 years. Justices like Sonia Sotomayor and John Roberts, who are part of the pro-free speech majority, are aging. And any changes in the court's composition could have significant implications for the future of the First Amendment. We've already seen signs of this potential shift in cases like NetChoice v. Paxton and Nudi v. NetChoice, which challenged laws in Texas and Florida that sought to control content moderation on social media platforms. These laws were presented as efforts to protect free speech, but in reality, they were about forcing platforms to give equal space to all viewpoints, including those that might be harmful or offensive. This approach challenges the traditional understanding of the First Amendment. Instead of protecting individuals from government censorship, these laws would allow the government to dictate what private companies can and cannot do, which could have a chilling effect on free speech. For example, the Texas law prohibited social media platforms from removing or downgrading content based on its viewpoint, making it nearly impossible for platforms to effectively moderate harmful or extremist content. Imagine a situation where YouTube couldn't remove videos promoting hate speech unless it also removed videos condemning it. Such regulation wouldn't just disrupt the business models of social media companies, but could also lead to an increase in harmful content, making these platforms unsafe for users. These laws are just a glimpse of what could happen if the Supreme Court adopts a more restrictive view of the First Amendment. The balance of power on the court is crucial. And with the Federalist Society, a powerful conservative legal group playing a significant role in judicial appointments, there's a real possibility of a shift toward more government control over speech. In summary, as we approach the 2024 election, it's not just about who will win the presidency. It's also about what that victory could mean for the future of fundamental rights in the United States. The stakes are incredibly high, and the outcome of this election could shape the direction of the country for generations. Whether it's Trump's potential withdrawal, the changing dynamics of the race, or the future of the First Amendment, a lot is at stake. So, as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and ensure your voice is heard during this critical moment in American history.